Hey there, thanks for coming. I was in a quandary about what to talk about next because in the last video, I talked about just the flow of the mantra that's more important than the sound of the mantra. But I want to go on now and talk about one mantra. Let me just back up so I can make my mind unified. What I want to talk about next is how to do visualization and how a practice called Tradak helps with that. There's really two parts to manifestation. One is the energy, and the second is how long the energy is applied. So, to give you an example, let's take your own life. According to the tantrics, and this can be verified experimentally within yourself. Okay, we're talking about the science of success. You concentrate on this reality. This reality is not everything. And they even talk about, and you can experience this. And this is one of the secrets behind how to leave your body and enter somebody else's. Essentially, you leave this reality and you enter somebody else's reality. Vasista's yoga is filled with stories like that. Anyway, in your life, you put a great deal of energy. The Kundalini is fully awake and operating in your life right now. You just don't know what levers you're pulling when you pull the levers. So, one of the reasons that the gurus in the past didn't release this to the general public is due to the time they were in. Also, too, being aware of how to pull the levers was a source of power. Unfortunately, that brings some problems with it, too. Well, let me go on just a little bit about visualization. And the law of attraction says, whatever you think about, that comes to you. Now, the thing they leave out in that statement is how long it takes to manifest something. The more intently you think about that, and the longer the time you spend thinking about that, the faster it comes. So let's talk about time. Okay, so this is really what they're talking about, that is concentration. Well, two people will get a different result for the same length of time that they concentrate on something. And the reason is that they don't concentrate continuously. There's a practice called Tradak. Go look it up. I'll put a link to my video on Tradak. But yeah, go look at it from different perspectives. The more you know, the more you're in control. Ultimate independence means that you know everything. In Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it tells you to know whatever you need to know. At the end of the 4th chapter, the final chapter of the book, it says, what remains to be known is almost nothing. Well, the meaning of that is nothing that's important to you. That's really the only criteria that counts. Anyway, so Tradak trains your mind to stay on the same thought, the same sound, the same image. So that's the second part of making things come, to speed up the process in which it manifests. You may know what to image, okay, whatever you think of will come into being, but you don't know how to image it continuously. So now that my mind is more unified, I don't have that quandary anymore about what to talk about. I will put the link to Tradak in this, just so for those of you that are eager to understand this issue. But mantra. Mantra means a tool for thinking. It's made out of 2 parts. Manas, the mind. M-A-N stands for manas. Tra is a suffix that's added to words, and what makes whatever is in front of that into a tool. So there's things like yantra, there's things like tantra, and the meaning of those is tools. So a tool for thinking is a mantra. But in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, in this all-important talk between Krishna and Arjuna, Krishna says, among the mantras, I am the Gayatri meter. So if you're going to understand a mantra, you need to know who is the first person that created it. Well, the first person that created it was the seer of the mantra, the person that sees it, was Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra lived in the time of Rama, many thousands of years ago. So mantras came and went, and still Krishna said that among the mantras, I am the Gayatri meter, the Gayatri rhythm. So you need to know who did it, because that gives you some idea of how long ago, what the circumstances that he did it. I have a video on that. I'll put the link for it. And why this is so important to mantra is because when you become in tune with that, you become happy. And things around you help you without your even asking. I listen to a tape when I'm driving around, and they start off by saying, She who protects you when you sing of her is Gayatri. That means that when you're in tune with the universe, with the Gayatri meter, the universe wants that. So it does things to protect that. And when you learn a mantra, most people don't tell you this. Even though you're saying it as you're taught, what happens over time is that the mantra changes subtly. Now, remember the story I told in the previous video about the hermit that came running over the water and asked the pundit to tell him again what the correct pronunciation was. Well, what happened was the mantra that he had started to fit him like a glove and created that flow of energy in him. So it didn't matter what the mantra was in that sense. It only mattered what the flow was. So I'm busy here telling you this, and you're thinking about it and doing all this stuff here, but you really don't have any conception of what it feels like. I'm watching somebody who's watching their energy, and they can't believe how indifferent they've become to things around them because the flow of energy is so powerful. So to get back to the Gayatri, and I'll put a link to that also later on. I'll just add it. I'm doing the video right now. This is the best time. But I will continue to feel the flow. See, when you feel the flow and you feel happy and it makes everything around you better and you get what you want, it's impossible to turn away from that. Why? Because you're getting what you want. So whatever you want, you get. So after you've gotten what you want, inevitably you'll want something more. You'll want to make it work better and work faster. And a funny thing happens as you do that is that your inner world becomes more important to you. You will want that more than anything else. Why? Because not only can it get you everything you've ever wanted, it'll help you determine what things you've grown out of, what you don't want anymore. It's a process of letting some things go and getting something else. Your discriminating ability tells you what makes you happier. So, and that's the essence of success, to make yourself happier. Tantra says The very first thing Tantra says is make yourself happier the next instant, because that's a mental construct for what happens. So, okay, so that there is, so the mantra, especially the Gayatri Mantra, is an aid to create the flow. And the flow is what happens. And the mantra subtly changes to fit that flow. And the Gayatri is the best for that. Okay, well, I got that off my chest. I hope you enjoyed it. More importantly, I hope, my trust is, that some of you will start on a journey of happiness, of peace, of harmony, of joy. Thank you.